Hey guys, what is up? It's your boy Naren traveling to Kashi or Varanasi to go visit the Kashi Vishwanath Great Shiva Temple. Starting the journey out here in the airport. It's one of my favorite cities in India and in the world. It's a city filled with Indian culture, heritage and spirituality. It's a seat of knowledge. Kashi was known as a city where people go to die. The city where people go to die is because if you die in Kashi, you become enlightened. I'm so excited. Right now in the Calcutta airport, heading to Kashi. Cheers. Folks, just checked in at the Taj Nadesar Palace. It's an ancient property by the king of Varanasi, and it's a beautiful, beautiful property. I saw this book. People write down the reviews. What's cool is not just this book, but the pen. Look at this. This is the classic feather pen with the ink and the blot. Beautiful. I might leave a review once done. There's a fancy room and stuff, but you know what I like to do? That they see the classic Indian way. I'm probably just gonna sleep here in the machan outside while being out. I think I like this experience of this bed more than the room, to be honest. However fancy the room might be. First Prime Minister of India stayed in this room. Isn't this crazy? From 1707 to 1807 in the year 1950, Jawaharlal Nehru. Well, it's time for me to go back to the room, freshen up a little bit and explore more of Kashi. Very lucky to be in a spot where there's a little bit of calm inside, because Kashi outside, Varanasi outside, can be very busy. This is on the way to one of the most famous Shiva temples in India called Kashi Vishwanath. I had a great visit to the mandir. It was relatively less crowded from the past times that I've been. It's been super crowded every time I've been, but this time it was much easier. I also got a great garland that was offered to the linga or the deity, and I also was able to get this rudraksh, which is really rare and cool. I got a rudraksh that was offered to the deity. Rudraksh is a sacred bead, and it's known to have a lot of health benefits, and also people who are on the spiritual path, who are into meditation, it assists you and guide you through it. Rudraksh is a very interesting bead, and it was really cool that I was able to get it. We're right in front of the Ganges, and the gentleman right here is a tea seller at the Ganges, and he was praying to the Ganges. Every time he comes here every day, he prays to the Ganges. आप पूजा करके गंगा जी का अपना दिन का काम शुरू करते हैं क्या? बहुत अच्छा. क्या नाम आपका? Vijay Kumar Mishra, right here. Kashi mein kab se aap? 2004. Since 2004 he's been doing this at Kashi. So beautiful, such beautiful sights. The devotion in the people's hearts is amazing. Chaliye Vijay bhaiya, namaskar. At the Ghat of the Ganges, the famous Ganges Ghat of Kashi. Kashi, Banaras, Varanasi, different names of the same city. But how beautiful it is, look. And this is the Ashwamedh Ghat, the most famous ghat here for Ganga Aarti. You can see the preparations for Ganga Aarti already happening. the open cremation happening at the Harish Chandra Ghat, the second most famous cremation ground in Kashi, where people come, burn the dead, and right there the ashes go in the Ganges. It's an open site. Death is a celebration in Kashi, because if you die in Kashi, you may escape from the cycle of birth and death and attain moksha. So all the fires that you see, the funeral pyres right there, are burning bodies. And it is such a fantastic reminder to us that we are all mortal. That is the Tulsi Ghat. The famous Indian writer, poet Tulsi Das literally wrote the masterpieces of literature that he's written, Ramcharitramanas, all his texts, so many of them, right there sitting 750 years ago. Can you believe it? This is double the time before America existed. At the Das Ashmaved Ghat, we're on the boat right now, so you can see the ghat in the back of me. And what's about to happen is something called the Ganga Aarti. The Ganga Aarti is basically an offering to the river, because the river is seen as a source of lifeline in India. So people here every day perform a Ganga Aarti, offer their well wishes and their thank you to the river. The famous Kashi CHAAT BHANDAR. We got a very famous tomato chaat here. भैया टमाटर चाट कैसा होता है दिखाइए. ये देखिए होता है कुल्हड़ वाला. ये चल रहा है कुल्हड़ वाला. कितने साल से बना रहे हैं भैया टमाटर चाट यहाँ पर? एक टिकिया एक पालक. 60 years. They've been making tomato chaat since 60 years. One of the most famous in Kashi. People come here to eat the Kashi CHAAT BHANDAR. यहाँ भैया कितना हुआ आपका? होगा 240 और 3 पानी पूरी 315 रुपये. 315. एक टमाटर दीजिए भैया. मिश्रा जी नमस्कार. Nighttime pool diving with the garden right there, and we got the Nadesar Palace property right there. एक साल बाद पूरा. Ha, good time. Morning yoga time. I thought I'll just come outside and do my yoga outside today and my meditations. Heading to a few important temples that are close to my heart. And again, temple in India is not a place where you go prayer and ask for stuff. Maybe there are temples like that, but the major idea is to go absorb the energy and receive energy. I'm headed to some place super cool called Kal Bhairav Temple. So Kal Bhairav has a crazy story behind it. Kashi, this city was known as a city where if anybody came, they could get enlightened or get moksha or ultimate liberation. And so a lot of lousy people started showing up to Kashi. Lousy people who didn't take care and didn't live a conscious life. And in order to protect lousy people from coming, there were guards set up around Kashi. And Kal Bhairav became the guardian of Kashi, so that lousy people can't enter ultimate liberation, the city that provides ultimate liberation. So it's got a cool story, and there's a very famous Kal Bhairav temple here. People who are facing a lot of negativity in life, people who are possessed, etc. can go, and Kal Bhairav can get you rid of all those struggles that you're getting. just exited the Kal Bhairav Mandir. Beautiful experience. What's another cool thing is a lot of Indian deities have cohorts, and Kal Bhairav's cohort is the dog. So there's a bunch of dogs. I wasn't allowed to take a lot of videos and photos in the mandir, but there's a bunch of dogs inside the mandir, which is pretty cool. Inside the temple space, some dogs sleeping and just chilling out there, which is awesome. Even outside, there's a bunch of dogs, and people honor the dogs sometimes with the garlands. Check out these streets, so slim, so tiny, shops all around, construction. Literally, cars or auto rickshaws can't fix here, but people bring their bikes, walking mainly. And small stores, people living out here. Look at this. This is Kashi, one of the most ancient cities in the world, possibly. You gotta cover these streets with your foot. No other way. No other way about it. And there we go. A big cow on the way. Guys, I just exited SWAMI TRAILANGANATH Mutt. We're not allowed to take videos inside or selfies, etc. Some photos are shared, but it was a phenomenal experience. This is the second time I've come here. I was there for 2 hours and time literally passed by in a blip. I also had the lucky chance to go to a place where, kind of in the basement, where Baba Swami Trailanganatha himself used to do some sadhana and did some intense sadhana right before he left his body consciously. The story of Baba is very interesting. They say he was born in 1607 and left his body in about 1887. So he lived as a human, in human form, 280 years, they say, legend says. There's stories and mystical and magical stories of him, of how he was a total Digambar, which means he used to walk around unclad without any clothes. And during the British rule, they used to put him in the jail because he didn't have any clothes on, and that was not socially appropriate. And they used to find him disappear out of the jail on the roof of the jail, magical and mystically appear. Of course, these are very magical, mystical stories. Ramakrishna Paramahansa and his student Swami Vivekanand, both of them very famous, visited Baba himself. There is no doubt that Baba existed. We don't. Of course, people will argue if he lived for 280 years or not. That's a different issue. But the fact that he existed, he lived here, this was his mutt, is no doubt. All seekers come to Kashi. And there they are, old ladies, so adorable to watch, devotees struggling, and all these steep stairs, but yet continuing the journey. Guys, check this out. This right here is Manikarnika Ghat, and this right here is the funeral pyre starting fire. So pretty much all the funeral pyres are burnt from this wood. This has been going on since centuries, they say. So Mr. Chaudhary here, he's been working in this ghat for 20 years. He's been here, he calls himself the Dome Raja, the king of the domes. Domes are a certain sect of people that help in the cremation grounds for burning the dead bodies, etc. आपको यहाँ 20 साल से रहकर कैसा लग रहा है?
आप लोग बहुत से अच्छा लग रहा है.
डर नहीं लगता?
कुछ नहीं.
He's not scared of anything.
अब हम आपको सुता देंगे, जंगल में सुता देंगे तो हम लोग रह जाएंगे.
He's saying you leave me in the jungle in the midnight and I will stay there because I'm not scared of anything. After 20 years of assisting and seeing death so close in front of our eyes. यहाँ दिन में कितना शरीर?
250.
Okay, wow. About 200 to 250 dead bodies are daily burnt here in the ghat. ऐसा कोई भी दिन हुआ है कि एक दिन मणिकर्णिका घाट पे शरीर नहीं आया?
रोज, बरो महीना, बरो दिन, बरो साल.
It's been on since 12. He says it goes on 12 months, every day of the week, every year, without stop, bodies after bodies after bodies. That's the fire that's been given to the gentleman right there. And that fire is going to be used to set fire to the body. That is exactly the fire that's used for years and generations at Manikarnika Ghat. visit to Manikarnika was shaking. It's intense. You all know what I mean. To go and watch cremation grounds and bodies being burnt alive. But you know, that's the idea of being in Kashi and the idea of going to cremation grounds and visiting, so that we are reminded of our mortality. And it's not negative in any way. The idea is that if we're reminded of our mortality, we know that we have a limited time on earth. Only then we make the most of what we have, and then we are cautious and fruitful and conscious about how we're spending our life. Because most of us are spending our life as if we are going to live forever in many ways, and wasting so much of our precious time in things that won't matter in the long run. So really, a visit to the cremation grounds is realignment in many ways of the psyche and the consciousness that, hey, we got limited time, we don't even know if there's tomorrow. I'm reminded of this beautiful song poetry by Saint Kabir, 15th century poet, enlightened poet. And he has a song, he says, Mat kar kaya ko ahkar, mat kar kaya ko abhiman,
kaya कार से काची मत कर माया को अहंकार मत कर काया को अभिमान काया कार से काची.
Check this out, I'm here with Naseem Bhai at the Taj Nadesar. He's got a buggy. This buggy was gifted to the then king by Queen Elizabeth, and we're about to go on a ride, this buggy ride, with his horse Raja. I said I'm gonna get up with Naseem Bhai on the driver's seat. So here we are, driver's seat of the buggy, not the passenger. Hi Naseem Bhai. This is a tar pear or coconut palm tree, and what's unique is like there's 2-3 offshoots of each, which is a very unique tree, and he's saying that it's about a 280-year-old tree. Wow. Right here trying to sight a peacock. This is the Maharaja bust. That right there is the Nadeshwari Mata's Mandir, and the Nadeshwar palace name is kept after the deity, the Devi, Ma Nadeshwari. As you can see, it's written on the temple as well. It's an ancient temple, and hence the palace named after the temple. Guys, this is a famous restaurant in Banaras called Bati Chokha. It serves traditional Uttar Pradeshi Banarsi food. So excited to check this out and how it is. If you see all the art, it's like very traditional, and the kind of painting there is. Look, it's served on a pattal, which means a plate made out of leaves. This is very eco-friendly. After you're done with your meal, you can throw the leaf away. It's biodegradable. You got some chili pickle, some tomato chutney, some coriander chutney, onion. This is made out of tomato and eggplant. And here is bati, which is stuffed with something called sattu. And then you literally pour ghee over it, and you eat this together.
Ghee is over the fine butter.
clarified butter. Some dal. Guys, this is the statue that was found in Sarnath, the place where Buddha gave his first sermon. This is the statue that was found when dug up by archaeologists. Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, right here. We're in this place called Sarnath, where he gave his first sermon after his enlightenment, near Kashi itself. The exact spot, they say, where the Buddha himself gave his first sermon under the Bodhi tree. That tree is an offshoot of the Bodhi tree, and this is where the Dharma Chakra Parivartan happened, or the wheel of Dharma or the eternal law started spinning in a different way. This is the exact spot where Buddha gave his first sermon. Wow, what a blessed sight. This is the stupa, the Dharmic stupa at Sarnath. This was constructed by Maharaj Ashok, the great king who popularized Buddhism after Buddha. And Buddha's relics still are in here. This is 23 feet wide, circular, domular structure, has Buddha's relics still in it. And the whole side of Sarnath is in this spot. After the Buddha passed away, his relics were divided into 8 parts because there were 8 kings that followed his teachings and principles, out of which one king was Ashoka. Ashoka took his part and divided those relics into 8,400 parts, I'm hearing from the guide here, and one of those parts stay in this relic, in this stupa. Wherever there's Buddha's relics, it becomes a stupa. This was constructed 2,500 years ago. Guys, that's the richness of this culture and this city, Kashi, Banaras, because Sarnath is right next to it. It's in the circumference. And Buddha, when he became enlightened, out of compassion, wanted to teach the teachings of reaching nirvana or a suffering-less life, attaining the ultimate freedom. And he came to Kashi to teach, because here is where a bunch of seekers were. And he gave his first sermon, where we rightly saw, at Sarnath. Here lies Buddha's relics. What a peaceful sight, guys. If you ever come here, you'll have to experience it yourself. When I'm not making this video, I'm sitting down and absorbing. The air is different.
हो कायागार से काछी रे जैसे ओसरा मोती, झोंका पवन का लग जाए, झपका पवन का लग जाए, काया धूल हो जासी, काया तेरी धूल हो जासी। ऐसा सख्त था महाराज जिनका, मुल्कों में राज, जिन घर झूलता हाथी, ओ जिन घर झूलता हाथी रे, उन घर दिया ना बाती, झोंका पवन का लग जाए, झपका